everyone, I'm Captain Logan.
And I'm Steve Baxey.
Steve, this week 2 giant, important trailers came out. Really major things that everybody's been excited to finally see, and we're going to talk about both of them. So, obviously, we're talking about Batman vs. Superman, and we're also talking about Star Wars, The Force Unleashed. Force Unleashed, no. That was the Force Awakens. I'm going to keep calling it that on accident.
Force Unleashed.
Yeah, we should have talked about that, but yeah, well, anyway. So, obviously, one of these is the first stuff we've seen, besides leaked Comic-Con footage from months ago, and then the other is the second teaser, which gives you much more of a feel, I think, for what the film's actually maybe going to be like, than the first one, which was kind of just a series of random images that a lot of people have suggested, well, that's what they had fully rendered by now, and that's, so, we got to see some random things to get our palate wet, and now we've finally gotten to hear and see a little bit from the original characters that we're, stoked to see back in the film again. So, let's start with Batman vs. Superman. Steve, what was your immediate reaction when you saw this trailer? We've got the world freaking out about how powerful Superman is, and we've got a whole lot of Frank Miller iconography. What do you think?
I was immediately very underwhelmed by it. I don't think it's a bad teaser, because it is a teaser. It is just teasing us as to what we're going to see later, but I mean, this trailer is designed so that you go to an IMAX screening and you watch all this stuff, but if you're just a natural moviegoer, fine, this is kind of interesting, this is cool. But if you're somebody that's following the production, if you're following along all of Zack Snyder's teases and pictures and stuff, you've seen all of this before. You've seen the suit before. You know it's Frank Miller. You know what the Superman story is supposed to be. There's nothing in the teaser that we haven't already heard before. And that's kind of disappointing. It's not a bad thing, but it's more for general audiences than it is for us, I think.
Okay, I think that's fine.
No, it is. It's just that's why I wasn't necessarily excited about it. Is that they're not playing to both fields in that way. Like the Star Wars teaser, both of them, they're just as much for people that have never seen Star Wars as they are for people that love Star Wars.
Okay,
and the same reaction, but this one doesn't really.
Let's be careful not to compare them too much. But with Batman vs. Superman, I don't know. I guess I've been a little bit careful not to look at, too much stuff. I mean, maybe there's been more stuff than I realized, because, I mean, it's pretty much just been some stills, like how we've seen the Batsuit and we've seen the Batmobile. But what I got more from it was just a sense of kind of overall tone. Like the whole thing looks more comic stylized than I think the first movie does, the Man of Steel did. I think it looks less bleak. And at least color palette wise, okay, it's all at night and it's dark and it's gritty, but Man of Steel had this kind of this kind of aura of even in the daytime, it's just so relentlessly sad looking, and again, as folks know, I really liked Man of Steel the first couple times I saw it, and I've been weirder about it as I've gone along, but that's a thing that I was kind of hoping we could get away from a little bit, and I don't know, man, this has. I don't know if it's right to say it has more of a sense of fun, really, because I mean, obviously they're trying to take the more realistic, how would people really react to Superman kind of thing, but then it feels more comic stylized because they are going for stuff like the big robot suit, and I didn't know that they were going to go that far. I hadn't seen that yet.
Well, that was the Comic-Con footage. The thing at the end with Batman and Superman, that was just the Comic-Con footage, except with that weird, do you bleed, you will line.
Okay, well, I saw the Comic-Con footage months ago and one time, and I forgot about the suit, so,
okay, that's fair.
I was kind of, I don't know if excited is the right word, because, let me just throw my true sense about the whole thing so far. This is not really what I wanted, you know what I mean? I didn't really want Frank Miller Batman. It'll be interesting to see how it plays. It's hard for me not just to have the wait-and-see attitude that I usually have with things like this and say, I don't know, we'll see. Obviously, we've known for a long time that they're doing... that they're borrowing a lot of ideas and maybe even just the whole package of what Batman is kind of from Miller, from Dark Knight Returns, and so I want to take it on its own terms and let it sell me that, you know what I mean? So if they do that, and that's not what I wanted in the first place, but within the context of the film they're making, it's great. I want to let it be great. You know what I mean? So,
Yeah.
I guess to your point, Steve. Yeah, there's nothing here to make me less jazzed than I was in the first place. You know what I mean?
That's fair.
Is there anything here to make me a lot more so? I don't know. Like I said, I mean, I got more of a sense than I had before of maybe what it versus what Man of Steel it might be like tonally. I don't know. I don't have any reason to not be, kind of at least intrigued.
Yeah, I mean, it's exactly what you said. I'm not any less excited, but I'm not any more excited. Like, I could have done without this trailer altogether, is kind of how I'm feeling.
But again, as you said, you are saying that from the perspective of somebody that's been following the production stuff, and so for general audiences, I think this is exactly the right trailer. One thing I really like about it is that thematically, it lets people know that it's gonna be the world versus Superman, and for folks that don't want that, for folks that want Superman to be the altruistic stalwart, and everybody is fine with him, and he sets the example, and he makes the world a better place right away. For people that want something closer to the 1940s kind of ideal, or something closer to even what we had with Christopher Reeve, more and more we're finally letting people know that's not really what we're getting yet. Could it turn into that? Yeah, maybe. I don't know that it will, but like a lot of people were so turned off to Man of Steel because it wasn't their Superman, and I think that maybe Snyder's getting a little bit wise to that and saying, look folks, it's not everybody's Superman. Maybe those people will, and honestly, a lot of those people that didn't like Man of Steel probably won't go see this in the first place, or maybe they will because of curiosity. But I don't know. I mean, like, I guess if you go, I guess my point is, if you go see this and you leave the theater and you go, "That's not my Superman," you should have known that from the beginning.
Yeah, no, that's fair. This is its own thing. This is clearly Zack Snyder is doing Frank Miller Batman because that's probably his favorite Batman, or the only Batman he knows, at least from how I've heard him speak about Batman before. It seems like that's the only thing he read. But that's his Batman. This is his Superman. They can be different if they want to be. That's fine. I just wasn't with Superman's character at all in Man of Steel. I don't think he's necessarily a great person in that movie. So it's a lot less investment going into this trailer. Now, if it's good, if it's awesome, I'll be happy. But at the same time, there's nothing here that's immediately different or interesting yet. I think we got the most comic book accurate looking Batman we've ever had.
Yeah.
I think Ben Affleck looks amazing in the Batsuit. And that'll be interesting. If nothing else, the acting will be great. It's just a matter of, this is so tightly knit in its own little kind of corner of people that enjoyed Man of Steel that I don't know if they're going to have the immediate success that they're looking for.
I don't know if I agree with that, though, Steve. I feel like a lot of the idea here is, okay, Superman is gonna have to pay the piper a little bit, right? That people are resisting stuff he did in Man of Steel, and maybe all that stuff that people complained about when they first watched it there will be consequences to those actions. Maybe that story's not over.
I know. I mean, there'll definitely be consequences, but just like from the tone and stuff, this is clearly not. This is not fighting Marvel for territory. This is them doing their own thing. So there's definitely going to be a smaller group of people that this movie's targeted towards.
Wow, I don't agree with that at all. Because I think it's targeted to a giant audience, which is people who want to see these two characters fight.
That's the idea. It's just it doesn't look like it's appealing to everyone in that spectrum.
Okay, I mean, I guess we'll see. I haven't heard a lot of reaction to it yet, but
all the reaction I've been following ever since it got leaked is that people are really mixed on it, which is surprising because I know a lot of Zack Snyder diehards that weren't sold by the trailer, and that's surprising.
Really?
Yeah.
Okay. Well, I guess we'll see.
It looks like a Zack Snyder film. I don't know why they're complaining about that, but for some reason they don't like it as much.
It looks more like a Zack Snyder film than Man of Steel did.
Yeah, exactly.
I don't know, man. I guess I feel like I'm a little bit more positive on it. I mean, I guess I just gotta wait and see what it is ultimately. But I didn't see this and immediately go, "Oh no, you can't do that." I mean, it feels like, first of all, there have been a lot of comic stories that have told this story, right?
Yeah.
I mean, like this is not new territory in the sense of oh my god, you can't do this with these characters. Folks that have huge issues with the ending of Man of Steel and don't think that was played right and stuff. I completely understand that. But the notion of nobody trusts Superman because he's too powerful and he's got to prove himself, I think it's just all going to depend on how they close this one out. You know what I mean? Just like with the last one.
And that's where bringing in Batman's a really good idea. Because I mean, I'm against doing Batman vs Superman right after Man of Steel because we haven't established who Superman is yet. But if you're gonna do a story where Superman isn't trusted by the people and you kind of bring in Batman to put Superman on trial, I think that's a really cool idea.
I think it is a potentially cool idea. Yeah, and I mean, like, originally I didn't care for, and I've probably said this on camera, I didn't care for the idea of if this is what they were doing. And again, all speculative. We don't know exactly what's happening. But the idea of, Batman has to come in and show Superman how to be Superman, I don't really want that, you know what I mean? But for Superman to have to prove what he really is, I'd love to see in this movie Superman make a case for why he thought he had to kill Zod. I would love to see Superman change the audience's mind that hated that. Is that possible? I don't know, but I'd love to see him try it.
I mean, it's a Chris Terrio script. Comic movies, regardless of who's writing them, there's always going to be studio involvement and changes that are unavoidable. But this is Chris Terrio. The guy wrote Argo. Argo is a brilliant movie, so if anyone can make that work, I think it's him.
But it just depends on how unfettered he is, right?
Yeah, exactly.
It depends on what kind of studio mandates he's got. I mean, like, I don't know. I really kind of hope that this one gets into the characters' heads a little bit more. That's all. That's the big thing I want, you know?
Yeah, I mean, I guess I wouldn't be as negative as I am if I just heard Chris Terrio come out in an interview and say, what is he doing? I wish I just saw an interview with Zack Snyder or somebody in the cast who were talking about what the story of this movie is as opposed to what it looks like.
Well, let's remember, though, that we're still a year out. And I don't know that I want to know that much. I mean,
it's not that much. It's just like, I don't need interviews about costume design right now if I can't get an interview about what the story is.
Yeah, but costume design is so much less spoilery. I mean, like, you expect to see costumes earlier.
Yeah, but I mean, seeing costumes in pictures and then just doing whole interviews talking about nothing but costumes.
Well, let me ask you a question. When you say that, because if this is what you're talking about, I understand why. Are you thinking that with this particular project, people are talking about costumes because their heads aren't in the right places?
Wait, what do you mean?
What I mean is, do you think that Snyder is so obsessed with the visual look that he doesn't care as much about story as you do?
Yes.
And I guess, again, we'll just have to see. And that's why you get a guy like Terrio because Snyder's job is to interpret that onto screen. And in my opinion, we've seen him do that brilliantly before. So, he's not a story guy in the sense that, because, you know how much I love his Watchmen. He seems really good at taking a script and putting it on screen and communicating what was there on the script.
Yeah.
Or at least he was. Now, when I saw Man of Steel, I wondered if all of the destruction and mayhem was actually on the page, or if that was just him going, "Wouldn't it be cool to see stuff explode here?" And he's not thinking about all the people that might be in the buildings. But you know, I'm just saying that if there's a great script, I'm not worried that Snyder can't put it on the screen.
Yeah, that's fair. I just kind of want something to put me in the corner for this movie, because I really want to like it. I want a DC Cinematic Universe. I want this Ben Affleck Batman to be amazing. I just need something as reassurance.
Yeah. Well, and I'm going to say, you're not going to know until you see it.
Yeah, no, that's fair. I mean, it's not like I'm not looking forward to it. I really want to see it. I'm excited for it. It's just I'm not as excited as I kind of wish I was. Fair
enough. Do you wish that it was less serious, or do you think it's okay that it's still in that super serious place?
I honestly don't care that it's that serious.
Yeah.
I mean, I wish we were doing more goofy, regular, kind of wholesome DC stuff. But if you're going to be serious, I'm fine with it.
I just want him to earn it.
The serious.
I just want him to earn it, is all.
Yeah.
And
I mean,
hoping that happens.
Christopher Nolan's Batman isn't my Batman, but he told that story brilliantly in the first two movies, and I was completely sold on how serious and grounded it was in the context of those movies. Even the trailers were legitimately exciting for the tone he was building. These movies, I didn't like Man of Steel. I thought it was too serious for no good reason. If you can convince me this time around, it's fine. It's just I need something now before I kind of just lose the excitement.
I just feel like what these movies need, maybe we'll get it finally, is the kind of levity we had in Begins and Dark Knight.
Yes.
Because those are heavy, but they're not relentlessly so. I had a great time watching them. I really enjoyed myself. And what I enjoyed out of Man of Steel was what was on paper, was the ideas.
Yeah.
I didn't find myself, especially on repeat viewings, caring as much about characters as I wished I had.
Yeah, no, I agree. And it's going to be interesting to see just how much Chris Terrio is working with Zack Snyder, or how much is just Chris Terrio writing a script and Snyder adapting it. Because apparently David Goyer left because they had creative differences with Snyder. So is Snyder guiding this vision and Terrio is just kind of reciprocating it in a script, or does Terrio have an idea that Zack likes as well? I don't know.
I guess we'll see. Yeah, I mean, and that's what's rough about talking about trailers and making videos about these things, is that I never want to come off like I'm reviewing the film before we see it. I've already made up my mind. I don't know, the movie's not out. So real quick before we go to Star Wars, let me say what I like to do with trailers, because we haven't really done this much yet, which is it a good teaser? Is it a thing that is gonna that is gonna bring people to the... Now, you say that a lot of people are already mixed on it, but versus some other teasers I've seen, I'm kind of surprised that we already have a little bit of thematic stuff. I'm surprised that we already have a little bit of an idea of what the movie's about. That's cool. I also don't think that they've given away too much yet. I don't have a problem with the fact that we haven't seen much more visually outside of stills and stuff, and I also think that we got more of that than maybe you're letting on. I think, first of all, I want to know why they built a statue already.
Yeah, I don't know.
I'm interested in that. We already got a glimpse of the Batwing. We didn't have that before. That's kind of neat.
Yeah, that's kind of cool. We got a glimpse of the Batmobile and the Batwing, and if you saw some of the production stuff, the Batmobile looked pretty awesome.
Yeah.
So I'm excited for that. I love Batwings. Batwings are cool. The trailer sold me on that. Ben Affleck looks great in the costume.
It's a pretty cohesive trailer. I mean, you already have a pretty good sense of what the movie's about. It's people don't trust Superman. Batman's gonna go try to stop him. Now, I don't know what Batman thinks he's gonna accomplish exactly. You gotta wonder about that. He's like, do you bleed? And I'm like, are you gonna kill him? I don't think you're gonna kill him. I mean, what exactly are you doing? Are you stopping him from doing a certain thing, or are you just generically stopping him? I guess we'll see. But again, I was kind of surprised by the by the armor. And now that you say that, yeah, I guess we did. I'm remembering the helmet now, but we got to see the whole full body. I don't know. It's right off the page. It looks good. I don't know that I wanted that, but it looks good.
Yeah, it doesn't look bad. I guess part of it is that this movie's a movie that sells itself. Even if you had no trailers, just the idea that Batman versus Superman is coming to screen, people are gonna flock to it no matter what you do.
So are you saying we just shouldn't have had a trailer at all?
I'm not saying we shouldn't have had a trailer at all. I'm saying that if the movie's a year out and you do this giant IMAX screening knowing full well that in this day and age leaks are inevitable.
Yeah.
And I mean, we've had descriptions for all the Star Wars trailers perfectly verbatim what's going to happen months in advance. We knew there was a potential risk for that. You hold this giant IMAX screening up for a trailer that doesn't really necessarily show you a lot that you couldn't have just conveyed over Twitter accounts and such. I mean, the problem is just the hype for this movie is impossible to beat. It's going to be a hype movie. The fact of the matter is that the trailer doesn't live up to the hype that was already naturally there. It's underwhelming in the sense that if you just released another picture, you would have gotten a much more positive response than you if you released this trailer.
So you're saying that they're having people pay to see a screening in IMAX that's not like for another movie, it's just go see this trailer?
There might be another movie attached, but you can just go on their website and buy IMAX tickets to see just the trailer.
Okay, that's kind of weird, but I don't know that anything lives up to that. I mean, people want to see the movie ultimately. You know what I mean? Like, what would you do? What did you want to?
The first 5 minutes of movies.
What did you want to see, Steve?
Films and such. It's just like for a trailer that doesn't really give you anything more than you wouldn't have gotten over Zack Snyder's Twitter account.
Are you saying we should have seen the Justice League, or are you saying we should have seen Lex Luthor? What should we have seen? I mean,
an image of Jesse Eisenberg talking, a picture of Wonder Woman, something.
I don't know, man.
We wouldn't have already kind of guessed that was there.
Okay, I feel like what you're complaining about is less the trailer and more the way they're marketing it overall.
Yes.
Because, okay, fine, but like, I'm just talking about a thing I watched, dude. I mean, like, with regards to all the other... First of all, I still don't know how you integrate all those characters. I'm very interested to see if that works out. I don't think you want to sell this movie on much more besides Batman versus Superman. That's in the title. That's you're right. That sells it. That's what sells it. It would sell itself on that. I mean, yeah, they've already shown us stills of those, so I'm sure that eventually, sort of like with Star Wars, you know, we've already now gotten the Star Wars teaser. That's that's kind of the legacy thing, right? So maybe we'll get a justice part of the of the Batman v Superman: Dawn of Justice a bit, and we'll have that trailer eventually. I'm sure something like that is liable to happen this early, though, a year early.
Yeah, that's a little strange.
No, what's strange about it is that they're selling tickets for an IMAX screening for a trailer. That's what's strange about it. I think what we got was what we should have gotten.
I think it's what we should have gotten like 3 months after the fact, after this. Like, you give me this trailer in December, it's a little bit more exciting.
But you just said that it's everything you've seen already.
I know, but see, it's the hype factor of it, you know? It's not, the trailer itself is underwhelming because the hype for the movie is already so high. If you just build that anticipation and then release what we've already seen, that works. But if you just release pictures of Aquaman and Lex Luthor and stuff, then you give us a trailer of things we haven't already seen, it kind of kills it. Like, just this past month, we had Aquaman and Lex Luthor. And that's way more exciting than anything else I saw on this trailer.
All right. I see where you're coming from. It doesn't bug me. I guess for me, it's enough to see those things in action, moving, and getting to get I guess glimpse isn't the right word because you use the word glimpse for seeing things, but a glimpse of what Ben Affleck's voice is going to be like. Although that's inside of a mechanical helmet thing, so he's probably not going to talk like that all the time. I hear people making fun of that, and I'm like, well, that's what he sounds like right now underneath a mechanical helmet thing. He sounds very
pretty cool though.
Very
I think the mechanical helmet voice is actually kind of bad. Awesome.
I think it's fine. Okay, well, obviously, I'm sure people are going to be mixing the comments. I'm looking forward to seeing what people have to say. Steve and I are arguing about it, which is great. We're mixed as well, it seems.
Yes, apparently so.
Yeah, a lot of my friends seem really down on it. I don't know. As you said, I don't feel like I'm getting enough more than. I mean, like, it's about what I expected, but then kind of fun to get to finally see some stuff. I don't know. I don't know.
Yeah, I don't know. If it comes down and it's awesome, I'll be happy. I honestly don't care about the trailer as much as I care about what the film's final product is going to be like.
All right, well, we've belabored this far too long. Let's talk about Star Wars really quick, Force Awakens. So now we have more than just some random glimpses of stuff. We know more than there's a whirly ball robot thing, which is peeking around a corner. I guess that thing's going to be a thing now. Because I got the sense from the trailer before it was just, look, it's a robot. I think it's going to be like a character.
It's going to be essentially the new R2D2, the new BB-8.
That's the sense I got from it. Yeah. Well, what are your first thoughts on this? Go ahead, Steve.
I thought this was legitimately exciting. I thought this was pretty awesome. The coolest thing about this is that not necessarily that we're getting a lot of story stuff per se, but we're getting that old school Star Wars vibe.
Yeah.
We're getting a sense of we had our generational films. We had the 70s and 80s. We had the early 2000s. Now a new group of people get the same kind of prophecy that Luke did that we all loved. And at the very end, when you see Han Solo and Chewbacca saying we're home, it's really hard not to smile when you see that.
Yeah, I love that because you hear Luke Skywalker's voice the entire trailer and you never see him. You just see Han Solo at the end. And you're not expecting. I mean, I thought that was wonderful teaser making. And it was the teaser I kind of thought we'd get in the first place. Because the first one, I was kind of like, wow, no legacy stuff yet. Like, I wonder how long it's going to be before we get to see, any of this stuff. After I finished this trailer, I said, yeah, it's going to be episode 1 all over again. Like, as far as the hype. When you look at like the lines of people out the doors and people camping out overnight and stuff, I think that kind of thing is liable to happen again.
And I mean, if you were at the Star Wars Celebration or you watched the screening of that, the audience made them replay the trailer 3 times.
Really?
People were legitimately excited about it. People have already started making like replicas of the new lightsaber and stuff. They put the new lightsaber on display over there. So the hype here is already kind of crazy.
I know
the Han Solo clip is like one of the most played things on YouTube right now.
I know we had, of course. I know we already had like I think like drawings of it in stuff like pre-production drawings of the broken Vader mask and stuff. But I don't know, getting to see it, that was pretty exciting. That was pretty
seeing
neat.
it in a kind of particular context, saying that my father had the Force, my sister had it, I have it, and now you have it, almost making it seem like Luke's talking to maybe one of his children.
That's I mean, it's got to be it, right? Like what else could it be? It's clearly a legacy thing. So that's what everybody kind of figured. That's you know, no surprise there. But and I don't know that there's really a lot of surprises in this. I think it's all about the atmosphere, right? I think Abrams is selling this a lot like he sold the 2009 Star Trek movie.
Yeah, I think so.
It's all about the iconography and that feel and getting to visit this again, but in a way, it's better, at least so far, because it's not playing... I don't think it's doing it as cheaply as I ultimately decided that the Star Trek one was, although, of course, I was hook, line, and sinker back then. But it's not all about, hey, look, quotes we've heard before. Hey, look, it's people we know moving forward. And the big thing we've got here that we didn't have with the Star Trek, and this is just kind of by virtue of what the sandbox he gets to play with now, we're moving forward. We're going somewhere. It's not about doing it over again. It's about getting to go in that world again and live in it again. I'm just hoping that it's not filled with those Star Trek type Easter eggs. You know what I mean? Like I hope it's not that kind of thing where it's like, I mean, it's fine to do some callbacks, but don't lift a bunch of dialogue and stuff, and I don't think they'll do that.
I doubt it. They're kind of going out of their way to change some certain things, like the Stormtrooper designs are different. The Empire is no longer called the Empire; it's going to be called the First Order. The Rebels are now the Resistance.
Oh, okay, all right.
Like they've legitimately changed things, and they've gone a long way to talk about and make sure you see in the trailer that it's still a used universe.
Yeah, that's a good point.
The first shot you see in the desert, and that's not Tatooine. They've confirmed it's a different planet now.
Weird. Okay.
It's a desert planet, and you see a Star Destroyer buried in the sand.
Mm-hmm.
That's just an immediately striking image. Just being able to discuss those ideas of the Empire is still around, but it's fading, and things have changed, and things are eroding. And when you see the pictures of the new lightsaber and Kylo Ren looking a lot like Darth Revan, there's a lot of callbacks to older stuff. There's a lot more ancient mythology stuff going on. It's not... Because Star Trek 09, I know you don't like it. I don't like it very much either. But that movie had a very weird sense of everything shiny and fancy and new. And it felt kind of strange and plastic in that way. This doesn't have that at all. This is kind of aged, and I like that a lot.
Yeah, although that is that is one of the big differences between Star Trek and Star Wars. The Star Trek's supposed to look, sleek and everything shiny and clean, because that's that world. We launch from a utopian planet.
No, that's fair.
No, that's not. That's what that should look like. But no, you're right. It is good how you used it. Yeah, I was really excited by that first image. With the Star Destroyer, and that is, and that's kind of, it's what you would expect, but in a good way, right? You'd hope that's what we're dealing with. Is we've destroyed, the Empire is in trouble, but it's not totally gone. So with changing stormtroopers and stuff like that, we're not retconning. We're just moving forward and they're changing stuff, right?
Yeah, because it's been in this universe about 30 years since Return of the Jedi, so. Things are evolving, things are changing. The Empire's logo is a little bit different now, so it's not retcon as much as it's just the fight's grounds have changed now that Palpatine's no longer there.
I mean, and that's going to be exciting to explore because it's not gonna. Hopefully, it's not gonna feel like a bunch of retread. It's gonna be look at what it's like now. It's Star Wars: The Next Generation.
Yeah, exactly, and that's kind of exciting. It feels like someone's making a pop sci-fi film now, which is exactly what Star Wars was back in '77.
Mm-hmm. And that's ultimately what I think is super cool about bringing the three principal actors back, is that now is the time to make that movie. By setting it in that time and hopefully making it about old versus the new, passing the torch, and all that stuff. It doesn't have to feel like we had to find a way to force those actors back in those roles.
Yeah. It's very natural. The only weird thing though is, did you notice that Chewbacca looks younger or the same age in the trailer?
They didn't do anything to age him, yeah.
He looks exactly the same. That's kind of strange. Especially looking at Han, and he's clearly a lot older. And also, Harrison Ford's been in a lot of movies these past few years, but he's always kind of turned in sort of a average performance. This is the first time I've seen him actually smile or look like he's enjoying a role. At least in the last 5 years.
Yeah, he also just plays a lot of really gruff characters that don't smile. But
he plays them all the same. There's no enthusiasm behind a lot of his performances these days.
That's a fair point. Sure.
But the way he's talking about Star Wars and the way he looks in that role, it's a little bit more exciting.
Which is funny because I know he used to hate it.
Yeah, he did. I don't know what changed with that, but apparently he likes it now.
Well, good. No, I mean, this is another movie that about sells itself, right?
Yeah.
And I mean, but I think that the couple of things that you really need to do to get a bunch of people on board that maybe just weren't sure if they cared yet, maybe people that didn't care for the prequels, or just like, okay, somebody's doing it that's not Lucas, I don't care. I think that stuff's in this trailer.
Yeah, I agree. This is a movie that, and I think this is why this taser works a little bit more than the Batman versus Superman one. It's just that.
Did you say taser or teaser? I think for Batman versus Superman, that was a taser for Steve. This was more of a legitimate teaser, but he was tased. He was like, I don't know, zap. I didn't enjoy that feeling.
Batman's got a taser in there. Something.
Batman's got a taser.
He had that in Dark Knight Returns, but anyway.
He had a taser in Dark Knight Returns.
He did, yes.
I don't remember that.
Funny. Anyway. Though, the thing though is, Dark Knight, the Batman vs Superman trailer, I think, is still very much more about the general public than it is about necessarily the comic book fans. But this is like, whether you're an old Star Wars fan and you want a guy who's never seen it, it works for everybody. It's legitimately interesting in its own right, just as much as it is in the context of that universe.
The big difference is, who doesn't know Star Wars?
You'd be surprised. I know a lot of people that just have never watched the Star Wars movies.
Oh, really?
Don't know anything about them.
All right. That's one of those. I just want to say that's somewhat more universal than some of the stuff that you would have in a Batman vs Superman. Although, I mean, Batman and Superman certainly are the same kind of universal, I guess.
Yeah, and I mean, there are still a lot of people that don't know Batman and Superman. But I guess Star Wars and Batman and Superman, they're kind of on the same level as far as people knowing them or their reputations go. It's just a matter of, I think there are a lot fewer people that have actually sat down and watched all the Star Wars movies, as opposed to just knowing they exist.
Yeah, I don't know. Maybe I've gotten older and I'm out of touch, because I don't know anybody that hasn't watched at least the original Star Wars film.
Yeah, maybe it's just because I am a younger thing. Like, there were so many people in my generation that have never watched Star Wars. They've always heard people talk about it, but they've never seen it.
So your point is, those people might watch this and go, okay, maybe there's a thing there. Maybe I should go back and watch Star Wars.
Yeah, and I mean, I talked about this earlier. Like, I've got a group of friends. A lot of them are like Zack Snyder diehards. They thought Batman vs Superman doesn't look great. I showed them the Star Wars trailer. They've never seen a Star Wars movie in their life, and they loved it. So, I mean, I don't know what that says about my generation per se, but that's kind of interesting.
Well, but it also might tell you a little bit about the flavor of what people are excited about right now versus what has been really big lately. We're seeing a lot of, dark and gritty has been kind of the big thing for like a decade now. You know what I mean? Like, I think the people that that you're likely to show a Star Wars trailer to that have never seen Star Wars might have saw Guardians last year, and they're like, oh, look, adventure, excitement, you know what I mean? Yeah. A thing I can go and smile at instead of a thing I gotta go and like, it's gonna make me think too much, which, I hate saying that. I want to go watch a movie and think. That's not what I mean. But you see what I'm saying. Before we go, I want to argue with you about one more thing, Steve. One more question for you. Why does the Batman vs Superman trailer, from a marketing standpoint, from a commercial standpoint, why this early does it need anything for the comic fans? I mean, we're gonna go see it anyway. I want to say a lot of the reason that they're leaking, like pictures of the Justice League and stuff like that, is just to get some of those people a little bit more, excited about the future of it.
Well, okay. See, the thing is, though, the way this movie's been marketed up to this point is just Zack Snyder released a picture on his Twitter account, and everyone goes, wow. The brilliance of that strategy is simply that it doesn't take an entire tactical team of studio heads to finance an operation and make a trailer. Release a picture, and you get more talk about and more circulation than you would with a trailer, which is pretty smart, considering it's Batman versus Superman, and everyone's going to see it.
But that's for the internet crowd. I mean,
it's working for everybody. Like,
you're making
Good Morning America show those pictures.
Okay, but you're somewhat making my point for me, because you're saying, they release pictures and it gets everybody excited, but the trailer they made is more for the general public. For folks that aren't gonna necessarily see all that stuff, right? Like those people that go see a movie, they'll see now the whole let's put it in an IMAX theater and charge money to see it. That's out there. That's not preposterous, but
No, I mean, the thing is though, everything we saw in the trailer, if you're a comic book fan, you've seen before. When you went back and you saw pictures of like Aquaman, that's not something you saw before. You knew Aquaman was in the movie. You knew who was playing him, kind of.
But you didn't want to look. You didn't know what he looked like
forever.
Yeah.
But you see that picture, and it's awesome for whether you're a comic book fan or you're not. Same with the Wonder Woman picture. I didn't necessarily like the pictures, but you got people talking about it.
Yeah.
The trailer, it's for the general public, but for you and I as comic book fans, or just someone who's read Dark Knight Returns, what more are they going to add to the discussion from seeing that? They already knew it. It's already been talked about. It's already been there since Comic-Con. There's nothing extra to live up to the hype here, right? Like, you see the Aquaman picture, there's a degree of mystery to it because you know Aquaman from the comics. This is a little bit different, and now people are excited about Aquaman in the general public and the comic book fans because they don't necessarily know what their version is versus what the screen version is. You see this trailer, and there's really none of that. There's not any kind of extra mystery to talk about. It's stuff we already know.
I guess I just don't know why that's necessarily a problem. You say that, you say that, and I feel weird about making.
As it was.
You say that, and I feel weird about making a half-hour video about it. But
I mean,
yeah, I'm going to argue establishes premise.
Yes, and I mean that's fine. That's good. It's just a matter of when you got a movie that's this hyped, the trailers matter a bit more.
Okay, I don't see that. I mean, like I see this as the same thing as the Star Wars teaser. Admittedly, we hadn't seen a lot of stills and stuff yet, I guess, when we got the first one. But I mean,
We didn't have anything up to that point.
That was okay. So maybe it's not a great comparison, but I mean, like, I still feel like we're a year out. I mean, like, I'm afraid that if we show too much stuff we hadn't seen, they've already shown a lot more than you would expect to see a year and a half before a movie comes out.
And that makes you wonder why they released a trailer now.
Because it's gotten fashionable to do that, you know, a year or 9 months early.
Yeah, but I mean, it's gotten fashionable. It works for things like you have to sell. Back in 2008, you had to sell Iron Man to people. You have to sell Captain America to people. You don't have to sell Batman versus Superman to anybody. Everyone's gonna go see it. No, but so there's no need for a trailer. They just wanted to put one out.
I think you're gonna. I don't know, man. I wonder if it's not just view count. You know, I wonder if it's not just okay. Like if it gets like 5 or 10 million views on YouTube right away, then the studio heads start to relax. Because one thing we have not talked about is how trepidatious they've been for so long about superhero movies at Warner's and DC, and who knows if they don't still have a little bit of that or even a lot of that mentality, right? I mean, like they're releasing a lot of dates and things to try to satiate the fans and tell people that we have a plan now. But you know, you and I were talking to Eric today a little bit online, and I think he might be right when he says that if that movie doesn't do precisely the numbers they want it to, they might completely change their strategy again. I mean, like they have such a history of that. How do you know that this isn't just them going out, let's put a thing out, and I mean, you know, they didn't just put it online. They're apparently selling tickets to IMAX, but surely there's a movie connected to that. I don't know. I didn't know about that. I didn't look that up ahead of time, so this is knowledge I don't have. I'm ignorant about that. But I'm just saying that, like, this can help gauge things for them. I don't know if this is as much for us as it is for the people making it, to try to get a sense of, you know, what the interest is.
That's fair. That's certainly a pattern with DC. Like, we had a Justice League movie cast, signed, written, and everything, and they just dismantled it overnight. It's this company. So yeah, I mean, that's possible.
And they didn't have a game plan.
Like $1 billion, then DC's not moving forward. It's just kind of the sense I'm getting from Warner.
And who knows? But we don't have. I mean, they didn't have a game plan right after Man of Steel either. Like that movie. People were. I mean, and I think they reacted more to criticism than they did to box office probably with that movie. Yeah. But you know, the whole Batman versus Superman thing I don't think was they really knew they were going to do right away.
No.
I mean, I was reading weird stuff, and I don't know how rumory this is. You never know these days. But I was reading things like they want to hurry up and throw one out the very next year. Like they want to do Man of Steel 2 in 2013. Like,
I mean, there was a lot of talk of having this movie come out in 2015 and then having a new Batman movie 2016.
They were just all over the place.
They were going to film back-to-back with a lot of these things.
I mean, how telling is it that they're trying to build their new shared universe, and it is 4 years after the original that we get the next movie in their shared universe franchise where they're trying to compete with Marvel. That's really interesting. Now, again, they've got a plan now, assuming the movie does well enough and they decide to move forward with it.
Yeah, and I mean, a lot of what we've seen with Zack Snyder and Chris Terrio and the casting and such is that Warner's has got a very particular vision of what they want these movies to be because they think that's what sells and that's what's guiding it. So no matter who you hire, they're going to have to work within the framework of what Warner's wants, more so than they ought to. Warner's a lot more controlling about this than they should be, and more so than other studios are. So that's going to be difficult no matter what. Even if you had someone like Joss Whedon working over at Warner Brothers, they'd still probably make him do stuff like this.
Well, you did. That's why he left and made Avengers for Marvel.
Yeah, exactly.
I
mean, his Wonder Woman got compromised quite a bit because of it.
It wasn't just compromised. He wrote a script and they didn't like it.
Yeah,
and he wasn't willing to rewrite it.
The director had the exact same problem. He wanted to make a Braveheart epic. They wanted a completely different thing.
I mean, that sounds like the right way to go with that movie, maybe, but.
Yeah, I mean that's what I thought.
But okay.
But again, they've got a very particular vision, so it's gonna be interesting to see how much of this is Chris Terrio and Zack Snyder, and how much of it is Warner Brothers.
Yeah, and how much of. And I mean, just who knows, but also how much of Goyer's stamp is still there at all.
Yeah.
I mean, like, I get that there was a falling out, and every time I mention Goyer, people go, no, he's out, it's all Terrio. Yeah, but part of the reason they went with Batman vs. Superman, I think, was because of Goyer.
Yeah.
I don't know how...
He's been talking about since he worked with Nolan on Batman Begins and Dark Knight.
Again, I don't know how right I am about that.
Wants to do.
But I just don't see how he doesn't have... How there's not a few of his ideas still lingering there. And that doesn't mean they're bad ideas, because Goyer's an idea guy before he's a good writer. But...
Yeah,
but you see what I'm saying? I just don't know. It's going to be interesting to see. But I mean, like, I don't want to just assume it's going to be great just because they have a new writer that wrote a good movie. We've seen it doesn't always work out that way. We've seen so many examples of great Hollywood screenwriters who got their hands tied and have their names on really bad movies. And
we mentioned Joss Whedon. Joss Whedon's got the same thing.
Yep.
Like Buffy the Vampire Slayer, Speed, and such. And I mean, I like Speed, but most of what he wanted to do with that movie is gone.
Yeah.
So, it's going to be interesting. I mean, I came off really negative about this. It's not necessarily the movie that's bothering me as much as it's the studio that's bothering me.
And I
just want this to be good. I want a good Batman movie. I'm kind of disenfranchised to Batman lately, which is terrible because he's my favorite character. I want this to be amazing.
Steve's going to go off and read all the good Batman stuff now.
Maybe. I was actually thinking of reading some Suicide Squad because I'm kind of excited for that movie.
Man, that they just keep announcing characters. I'm like, how are you gonna put all those people in that movie? I'm really excited about the guy they cast for Killer Croc. I think that was a great choice.
That's perfect.
Anyway, well, everybody, thanks always for watching. This is weirdly long, talking about a couple of trailers, but what do you folks think? I'm sure a lot of people are going to disagree with us or agree with one of us more than the other one on at least the Batman vs. Superman thing. Leave comments. Tell us what you think, and what movie are you, just in general, what movie are you most excited for this year? What movie are you most excited for this year, Steve?
This year?
Yeah.
Age of Ultron.
Really? You're going to get that in just a couple weeks now, yeah.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, I'm not necessarily as excited for Ant-Man as I think I want to be, but Age of Ultron's really exciting. I love Ultron, and I love Joss Whedon.
See, the thing I was most stoked for happened already.
Oh, what was that?
Daredevil.
Oh, yeah, Daredevil.
It's already happened, but I'm still kind of excited about Jurassic World, you guys.
Oh, yeah, Jurassic World's coming out. Oh, wait, let me change my answer, because Jessica Jones might come out this year as well, in, like, December.
Oh,
I really want
really?
to see what Jessica Jones is like.
Oh, well, especially after this. And don't you think, this is another new thing, don't you think that, I won't stop recording, you guys can listen to this part if you care to. Don't you think that a bazillion more people are going to watch Jessica Jones now than would have if they'd started with it?
Oh, yeah, most definitely. And I think that's also part of why they got David Tennant, is because now they've got Daredevil hype and they've got Doctor Who David Tennant hype in that show.
Yeah, that's That's going to be a big deal. And then all those Doctor Who people are going to watch it, and they're going to be mortified because he's going to be scary.
Oh, yeah.
He's going to be mortified.
Purple Man is a terrifying person.
And if you've watched Daredevil, you know that any villain in that show is going to, like, make you want to take a shower when you're finished, right?
Exactly.
Oh, my God. Well, anyway, everybody, thanks so much for watching. We sure appreciate it. Hope you enjoyed our duking it out about Batman vs. Superman and frothing at the mouth about Star Wars. And we will see you again. I don't like that we have to wait till Christmas for Star Wars. You know, maybe I'm more excited about Star Wars than anything now. Maybe that's the right answer.
Maybe so. I've been reading a lot of EU lately, so Star Wars is definitely up there.
Because I keep forgetting, that is this year, and I keep forgetting that. For some reason, I keep thinking that's next year.
Yeah, my mind keeps saying 2016, probably because the Batman vs. Superman trailer's got that big 2016 title card there.
Yeah, no, that is no. I don't want to say I'm more excited about Jurassic World than I am Star Wars after that trailer. Certainly not. But that's. Oh, we might have lost Steve. What's up, Steve? And he got stuck in a hilarious pose. Well, anyway, we were about to end anyway, so I'm just going to end us off. Thanks for watching, folks. Sure appreciate it. I'm Captain Logan, and that is Frozen Steve Baxi. And I'll see you again with more content very shortly. See you later.